Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Cool Collectibles. It's a lazy Sunday here in Australia, so I thought I'd give my thoughts on a topic that comes up every now and then in collecting circles. And it normally comes about when a company reissues a figure that's been released before, or perhaps releases a deluxe version or something like that. So the most obvious recent example is the Hot Toys Hulkbuster Deluxe Edition that was announced. It initially put quite a few collectors offside, in that the people who got the original version felt the value of their original figure was being compromised in some way by the reissue. And it's come about in a whole bunch of different cases as well, where I guess new improved versions are released, or multiple versions, such as the plastic die-cast debate on the Hot Toys Iron Man figures. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on the way I collect and what the value means to me, or exclusivity means to me. I guess I can start with Transformers. Transformers over the last, 30, 35 years, they've continually released figures, and Takara and the Japanese toy companies, they pretty much invented the concept of repaints, different colors, different versions. And a lot of collectors have been put offside by the announcement of the new Optimus Prime figure that is due to come out next year for the 35th anniversary, I think. So this MP10, for example, it's been around since about 2011, so that's getting up to 8 or 9 years by the time the new Optimus comes out, and that's a long time in toy world. So I don't begrudge Takara in releasing a new version at all. Whether or not the value of this decreases or not, I honestly don't really care. I'll always have a place to display this, whether it's in the truck mode or not, and I'll have a place for the new one as the series evolves. And I'm a collector because I love Transformers, not because I think the perceived value of these will continually rise over the years. And so it's all about how these figures bring me nostalgia, and what I feel when I look at them. It takes me back to the 80s when I was a kid, watching these cartoons on a Saturday morning. So I don't really care if, for example, Takara announce new versions of these Seekers. It's taken them years to release these, but if they start progressively improving the mold, then why not? As we continually improve toy technology and so on, it's almost a given that these toy companies are going to continually evolve their toys as well. Similarly for this particular figure with the Jack Sparrow, Hot Toys recently announced their DX15 or 16, I think it is. This was one of the original DX figures, DX06, I think, 06 Jack Sparrow. And this was going for pretty crazy prices, but whether or not they made 1,000 of these, or 10,000, or 100,000, it doesn't really bother me, in that I've got it in my collection, and that's all that matters to me. And whether or not I bought this for, say, $200 and I could sell it for $300 or $400, or whether or not I could only sell it for $150. I bought it to keep in my collection as that representation of the movie series. So I'm happy enough for other collectors to have that same feeling in their collection as well. Similarly for this DX11 Joker, if people think that Hot Toys aren't going to take the opportunity to make another variant of this in the future, or even if it's some other company, this figure's getting on to about 6 or 7 years old as well. So I'm sure if another company was to make a Joker, all the fans that missed out on this would love it, and all the other collectors, or I guess if they're collectors like me, they probably wouldn't care at all. And if it's an improvement, then I guess it's your own choice to see whether or not you love the movie and the series enough to try and get the new version. And I guess that sort of covers exclusivity as well. Some collectors like these PCS statues. I actually hate that they make such a small edition size, because it makes the pre-order period just an absolute nightmare. I remember when the Ryu came out and the Yakuma came out, the Yakuma 10-year anniversary was an absolute shambles. because the website kept crashing because so many people were trying to get in to order their version. You know, these guys maybe have an edition size in the 300s or so, but the fact that I was able to get one of these, if the edition size was 300,000 and you know all these other collectors had this version of Ryu, I don't really see how it affects me at all. You know, it's never leaving my collection. I love Street Fighter, I love Ryu, and it's going to have a place in my collection for as long as I can hold on to it. And if I can't hold on to it and I do need to sell it, you know, I mean, there have been figures that I've sold, like I sold all of my Clone Troopers and I bought them all at retail, and the prices were going crazy when Sideshow stopped making them. But you know, I didn't sell them for ridiculous prices when I sold all of my clone commanders, and it was great to see another collector take them and really appreciate them in their collection without having to you know, scalp them for ridiculous prices like some eBay sellers do. I mean, that's you know, but that's the capitalist society that we live in, and that's, you know, everyone's right to sort of meet market demand and all that sort of stuff. But I guess that's just not for me. I would rather you know, these figures be made for everyone to enjoy. You know, people complain about these stormtroopers here, how they're all sold out and they're all being sold for ridiculous prices. You know, if Hot Toys made another reissue, that's fantastic. There's so many Star Wars fans out there that have missed out on these stormtroopers, and they're just classic characters, right? So every Star Wars fan deserves to have them in their collection without having to pay you know, $800 for the set or something like that. So if they made more, that's great for Hot Toys and great for collectors. So I've got no issue with that at all. So I think that pretty much covers my sort of quick thoughts on the matter. Even with you know, the smaller figures, it can get a bit crazy. If I just quickly talk about just the Sorceress that I don't have, you know, she's probably one of the characters I would love to have, but you know, they made such a short run of her, and you know, the prices on eBay are like $200, $300 for a 6-inch figure, and that's just insane if you ask me. And if they were to reissue her at the same quality, or if they made a bigger run where the prices were just going crazy now, it would be great for me. And so, you know, I can see both sides of the argument, but for me, it's about collecting for the love of the characters, for the source material, and not for how these might increase in value or not. I mean, I've got figures that maybe have increased in value and maybe have dropped in value, and it doesn't really bother me either way. So, I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are. If you agree or disagree, comment below and let me know. And we can have a good debate about it. So hopefully you like my quick thoughts. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.